the most compassionate thing you can do for someone is to let them fail. Now, I know how that sounds. It sounds harsh, cold, maybe even cruel. But what if I told you that your constant urge to help, to fix, to save everyone around you might be the very thing that's holding them back? What if your help isn't actually helping at all? This isn't about becoming heartless. It's about a profound shift in perspective. It's about the difference between supporting someone and controlling them. It's about learning to respect their destiny and letting go of your need to be the hero. So, why is it that we feel this overwhelming compulsion to intervene in other people's lives? And when does this noble intention cross the line into something that can cause harm? From a psychological standpoint, the answers might surprise you. First, let's talk about whose needs you're really meeting. When you feel that desperate urge to jump in and solve someone's problem, it's often less about them and more about you. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as a savior complex. It's a pattern where an individual feels a compulsive need to rescue others, often at their own expense. Think about a father who constantly bails out his adult son from financial trouble. Every time the son overspends, dad is there to pay the credit card bill. On the surface, he's being a supportive parent. But what's happening underneath? The son never learns to manage his own money, never faces the real-world consequences of his actions, and remains dependent. The father, in turn, gets to feel needed, important, and in control. His actions, born from a desire to help, are actually enabling the very behavior he claims to dislike. This dynamic is beautifully illustrated by a psychological model from the 1960 seconds called the Karpman Drama Triangle. It describes 3 roles in dysfunctional relationships: the victim, the persecutor, and the rescuer. The rescuer needs a victim to feel a sense of purpose and validation. By saving them, the rescuer reinforces the victim's helplessness and keeps them in a dependent role. It's a self-serving cycle disguised as selflessness. When you're busy writing their life story, you rob them of the pen. Second, your help can be a vote of no confidence. Imagine you're venting to a friend about a difficult situation at work. You're not looking for answers, you just want to be heard. But before you can even finish a sentence, your friend is bombarding you with solutions. You should do this. You need to say that. Here's what I would do. How do you feel? You probably feel minimized, maybe even a little stupid. The unspoken message behind their unsolicited advice is, I don't trust you to handle this on your own. This can subtly erode a person's self-esteem and foster a sense of incompetence. There's a powerful psychological principle called reactance. It's the idea that when people feel their freedom of choice is being threatened, they have a negative reaction and often do the exact opposite of what's being suggested. Your well-meaning advice, perceived as a form of control, can actually push them further away from the solution. This is because the constant fixer sends a damaging message. They don't want you to help them live their life. They want you to help them live your version of their life. It's a subtle but powerful form of control, suggesting that their way is inherently flawed and your way is superior. Third, you are preventing the growth that only comes from struggle. Think of a caterpillar in a chrysalis. If you, out of kindness, carefully cut open the chrysalis to help the butterfly emerge, it would be a death sentence. The butterfly needs that struggle. The effort of breaking free is what pushes fluid into its wings, giving them the strength to fly. Without the struggle, it remains a weak, flightless creature. Humans are no different. Our greatest periods of growth are almost always born from our greatest challenges. When you consistently shield someone from struggle, you're not protecting them, you're weakening them. You're creating a cycle of dependency, where they learn to rely on you instead of their own inner resources. You aren't building a bridge for them to cross. You're just offering to carry them, ensuring they never learn to walk on their own. This often leads to imbalanced, one-sided relationships where one person is always giving and the other is always taking. Over time, this breeds resentment in the giver and learned helplessness in the receiver. The helper becomes exhausted and feels unappreciated, while the helped feels trapped and incapable. So, what's the alternative? Is it to simply stand by and watch people suffer? Absolutely not. The alternative is to shift from fixing to supporting. And this is where true compassion lies. This brings us to one of the most beautiful concepts in humanistic psychology, introduced by Carl Rogers: unconditional positive regard. It means offering someone complete acceptance and support, regardless of what they say or do. It doesn't mean you approve of all their actions, but you accept them as an inherently worthy person who is capable of finding their own path. Imagine that same friend venting about their job. Instead of offering solutions, you practice unconditional positive regard. You listen deeply. You validate their feelings by saying, "That sounds incredibly stressful. I'm so sorry you're going through that." You show you trust their capabilities by asking powerful questions like, "What do you think you want to do?" Or "What kind of support would be most helpful to you right now?" This is the art of holding space. You become a compassionate witness to their journey, a safe harbor where they can explore their own feelings and find their own wisdom. You trust that they have within them vast resources for self-understanding and growth. As Rogers put it, you're not the hero of their story, you're the trusted companion. You respect their autonomy, their right to choose their own path, even if it's a path you wouldn't choose for them. As the writer Jim Rohn once said, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. When you let go of the need to fix, you give people back the gift of their own life plan. In the end, this is about redefining our understanding of love and strength. And that isn't bara the sapswerkendak. It takes a far greater strength to sit with someone in their darkness without trying to switch on the lights for them. It is an act of profound faith to watch someone you care about stumble, trusting that they have the resilience to get back up. Respecting another person's destiny is not an act of abandonment. It is an act of liberation. It frees them from the weight of your expectations, and it frees you from the exhausting and impossible burden of being their savior. It allows for a relationship based on true equality and mutual respect, where each person is recognized as the sole author of their own life's journey. Their life, with all its messy, beautiful, and painful moments, is their masterpiece to create. Your role is not to grab the brush and paint it for them. It's to stand beside them, offer your quiet support, and admire the unique picture they are creating, trusting in the artist, even when they doubt themselves. This is a deep and often challenging practice. I'm curious to hear your perspective. Have you ever found yourself in the role of the fixer, or have you been on the receiving end of unwanted help? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could be the perspective someone else needs to hear today. And if this message resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more insights into the psychology that shapes our lives and relationships.